And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. This is a directed network, and I am net control. If at any time during this net should an emergency arise, please notify net control, and we'll stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our Qso-Vlog network is all about, trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the loudest, fullest sounding station possible. Well, long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running very low average peak modulation, many around 30% of average peak modulation. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to overcome most all of the problems. So it would just be a matter of developing a generic dynamic range setup procedure and then adjusting the onboard EQ gear. And so I started the Qso-Vlog network with the phrase, "If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout." And today, we're currently featuring over 1,850 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. Our mission statement for the network is to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics in current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average of 80 to 85% of average peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. It allows you to punch through when others fail. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher degree of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Again, why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon on the receive side, we're running 4 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Virginia, trying to get the best signal possible from our 100-watt friends. Now the audio from these 4 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also on this selector is our local receiver audio. And today, our local receiver is running 3 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed at 0 degrees, one aimed at 90 degrees, and number 3 is aimed at 134 degrees. In addition, 2 of the 3 may be rotated separately. They are selected by a 6-position rotary selector. Also today, on the transmit side, we'll be running our no SWR specially oriented dipole antenna. One leg of this dipole is broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg is broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of this antenna supports its mission. Also today, we'll be running our input source indicator. So when we switch from an Internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube Qso-Vlog video. And as we come together for another Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. Lord, we pray for clear 20 over S9 communications today. Let all our transmissions fill the air and reach their destinations QSA 5 to be understood by all. And as we pray for good radio conditions, let us also pray for good human conditions. During this time of pandemic that has challenged us all, we pray that you will protect everyone, especially our elderly. And also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. As we go through a very conflicting time in America's history, with dark clouds all around, we pray that you will reduce life's daily political QRM between our brothers and sisters, and through your love and guidance, show us the way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord, and God bless and protect America. Amen. To continue, since this is an area of the band where we have many networks trying to operate in a very confined area, I would appreciate all stations checking into our Qso-Vlog net to keep their band pass to no wider than 100 to 2900. Again, please, no wider than 100 to 2900. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. And now let's check in and see if Charlie, K1GZL, is on frequency to bring us up to date on the latest 40-meter band propagation. Charlie's QTH is up north in northern New Hampshire, near the Canadian border. Charlie, got a copy?
Yes, Jim, beautiful. Yes, Jim, beautiful copy. You're running 10 over 9 direct from your location in southern Indiana up here to northern New Hampshire, where a good 80% of the leaves have gone off the trees here on the the 15th of October 2021, and I do have a recording I made this morning at 7 a.m. of a station in Australia near Canberra, the capital of Australia. If you, I'll play a little bit of it if you copy all right. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Charlie, we have some unfortunate soul tuning up on the frequency. Please, sir, do not tune up on an active frequency. Charlie, go ahead, sir.
On an active frequency. Charlie, go ahead, sir.
Okay, which SDR do you think is better for my signal? Go ahead.
Well, you go ahead and I'll find it.
Okay, K1GZL. I hear that carrier, but you're overriding it, and it's west-southwest of here. West-southwest of here, I can tell by switching. Okay, here is text down in Australia this morning at 7 a.m.
GZL, VK1TX, over.
Here we go.
Copy. You're about 10 dB over 9, but we've got static pressures here, almost 15 to 20 over. Oh, terrible. But all copy, absolutely Q5, Charlie. Yeah, Charlie South told me a little bit about your problem that you had, and that you were off the air for a while. We were wondering where you were, so I'm glad things are turning out for you there, Charlie. So thanks very much for calling in and saying hi there. Much appreciated, Charlie.
Okay, how did that come through, Jim? KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Charlie, just perfect. Absolutely no problems at all, sir. Roger, roger.
Problems at all, sir. Roger, roger.
Okay, well, that was 40 meters. I haven't been getting on early in the morning. Sometimes I oversleep at that time. Although he was coming in very, very well from the Canberra area. He has a 2-element beam, I think 400 watts. 2-element beam, I think about 60 feet in the air. Okay, real fine. Other than that, not too much. May miss next week, unfortunately. May mix next week. But I'll be talking to Captain Mike tomorrow. Tuesday morning. I believe that is on the 19th of October, and I'll be talking to Captain Mike as he travels from Sacramento, California to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So I'll turn it back to you, Jim. I won't hold it any longer. I know there are many stations that would like to test out their rigs and so on, and it's always a pleasure making the QSO. KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Roger, Charlie, before you go now, I did visit QRZ, and I did look up Ian's location over in Australia. He's got some beautiful pictures there. My understanding is that the whole tower rotates. Is that a Roger?
The whole tower rotates? Is that a Roger?
He's got two situations. I think he does have a rotatable tower. But the antenna that I had been working him on in the past on 40 meters was two rhombics, one on top of the other, and I believe the top one was 130 feet above the ground, and the lower one was about 70 feet, and that was aimed at New York City. It was aimed at New York, but I believe on 20 meters he has a rotatable tower. But I haven't been able to work Ian. He's had amplifier trouble, and also he's had a couple of antenna problems on 40 meters when I talked to him last on the phone. Back to you, Jim. KC9VKV, K1GZL, Clarksville, Northern New Hampshire.
Roger, Roger, Charlie. Well, I just thought it was amazing that he figured out a way to rotate the whole tower, you know. I mean, and that looked like a very tall tower. Do you have any idea how tall that tower is?
Tall tower. Do you have any idea how tall that tower is?
I don't know. It must be well over 130 feet. I'm not sure how high his tower is, the one for 20 meters, but he's got a number of towers, not just one or two, but quite a few that support that rhombic, the rhombic. I don't remember the length of wire in the rhombic, but he absolutely has an amazing setup, and 40 meters has been the band I have worked him on. However, I suspect as we come up in the sunspot cycle, the 11-year sunspot cycle, as we go through the next year or two, that 20 meters will improve greatly on a short path in the early morning. So we'll have to see if that all works off or sugars off. Sugars out, or whatever you want to say. KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Roger. Okay, well, 73 up that way, Charlie. Appreciate your joining us as always, and hopefully you'll be able to join us next week. But if medical situations come up, feel free. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, Roger.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do, Roger.
No, absolutely. You're 100% correct on that. You know, sometimes they have their schedules. The hospitals are very busy, and the COVID situation is still fairly dominant, especially up here in New Hampshire. It is not as good as it was. So I'll say 73. Jim, and thank you again for the usual good one, of course. KC9VKV, K1GZL, we are clear.
Roger, Roger, Charlie, 73. And just a reminder, this is the Friday Afternoon Qso-Vlog Network. My name is Jim, KC9VKV, better known in some circles as Dr. VKV. And we are recording now live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout, and we'll post this recording up on YouTube in the next couple of days. So when you go to YouTube, just do a call letter search for KC9VKV, along with today's date, 10/15/21. And that will take you to this recording. Now, if you just do a call letter search for KC9VKV, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page. And on that page, you'll be looking for, over 1,850 recorded Qso-Vlog programs. So, something for everybody. And, you know, what it is about options. You can go through and peruse through those recordings and listen to different people's audio and say, hey, I like his, and I like mine better, or just whatever. The whole thing is options. So we'll be recording now live till 5, and if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. Kilowatt 4, Lima, Japan, Echo, 4HEW.
Roger, Jim, is that?
Roger, Jim, is that? Yeah, Jim, K4LJE, Eden, North Carolina. Good afternoon, Jim.
Roger, I thought that was you. You're on your base, Roger.
You're on your base, Roger. Oh, yeah. We're on the base here.
LJE returning. Yeah, good to hear you. Good to hear each and every one. Say hello to Charlie and say hello to all the fine folks out there on the Qso-Vlog net. And hey, man, it's good to be in here. Just purchased a brand new preamp, and compression built into one, made by the ART company, ART. I don't know what that's an acronym for, but I just thought I'd get a report on this thing and see how it's doing. Over.
Yes, sir. It's Art Resource something, I believe it is. I think you may be running the one that I have. It's about $50, $60. Well, it could be much more now, but does yours have a meter on it?
No, mine doesn't have the meter. I know what it is. It's a model MPC. It's mic, preamp, and compression. That's what it is in one little box. It's got 12AX7 and it has 3 knobs on the front and some LEDs.
Roger. Yeah, I've got essentially the same thing, 12AX7. It's got 4 push buttons along the front there, a 20 dB mic pad, phantom power supply switch, inversion switching, and then limiter in and out, Roger.
Yep, that's about the same thing. Sure enough, it's I still got my other one made by Behringer, but I like this one a little bit better, and I think I like the sound of it a lot better.
Yes, sir. It's just a beautiful device there, and the algorithm for the limiter compressor is very, very nice. It comes in somewhere between a compressor and a limiter. If you push it pretty hard, it starts to be a limiter. If you're just lightly doing about 5 or 6 dB, it's more like a compressor, Roger.
5 or 6 dB, it's more like a compressor, Roger. Yeah, Roger. Yeah, we've, hello, as I'm talking now, the 3 dB LED in the compression or gain reduction category is lighting up. So all of that being said, how are we doing?
Oh, sound beautiful there. I had you on my local stuff. Of course, you were a lot cleaner on Milford, so I gravitated over to Milford for the last few minutes, Roger. And incidentally, you were, I guess about 20 over in Milford. You're probably about 7 or 8 over on my local antenna.
And see what the doctor said there, Roger?
Yes, sir. I think we doubled a little bit there. I did, as I'm listening to the latency of the SDR coming back, I thought I could just jump in there. But anyway, we doubled quite a bit there, Roger.
Roger. Yeah, okay. No, I said I figured since I had this thing and redone a couple of things here, did tables and did some various things here. I just thought I'd come in here and see what the doctor had to say about it. So what the doctor says, you kind of want to go by there, Roger?
Roger. Well, I went to Arlington. Now, Arlington SDR is probably the only one that's flat to 100 cycles. And so the last probably 20 seconds of your last transmission, I was on Arlington, and your curve is very nice down to 100 cycles, Roger.
Down to 100 cycles, Roger.
Okay, well, very good. Well, we have an outboard EQ as well, as well as the compression here. So, all righty, I'll let you go. I really appreciate it, and thank you so very much. And you're sounding good down here. You're about a 15 over 9 down here on peaks. A little bit of QSB up and down, but very good. By the way, the rig here is a Drake TR7 with running about 850 watts into an in-fed wire, and the microphone is a Rode NT-1, Rode NT-1. So back to you, Jim, and thank you very much. Have a good weekend. K4LJE, Eden, North Carolina.
Roger, Jim 73, sir. Thanks for dropping by. Always sounding just beautiful. That probably that TR7 hasn't sounded as good as it does right now in a long time. You have got everything just perfect on that radio. 73, sir. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Kilo Charlie 8 Tango Delta X-ray.
Tango Delta X-ray station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
X-ray station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Yes, sir. It's Kilo Charlie 8 Tango Delta X-ray. Name is David, and I am in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Roger, David, in Virginia. And what radio are you running, sir?
In Virginia, and what radio are you running, sir?
The radio I have is the 7300 ICOM radio.
Oh, Roger, just a perfect radio. Why don't you give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system so I can hear you?
10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system so I can hear you.
Okay, I'm just getting back into radio, and I'm getting new equipment all the time, but the antenna that I'm actually using is store-bought Alpha Delta DX Charlie. It's an 80/10 fan dipole, and I'm running it in an inverted V fashion, about 29 to 30 feet at the peak, in a north to south configuration.
Roger that. And what mic did you say you were running?
Roger that. And what mic did you say you were running?
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I had been running a Heil 781 microphone, and I just bought a new mic, and I set it up the best that I could hear, like listening through headphones and stuff like that. But I bought it's an Electro Voice RE20. It's kind of a long, big studio type of mic.
Oh, Roger that. Really nice. Now, the hand mic that you had when you bought that radio is probably one of the nicest sounding station mics that you can have, although it is a hand mic. But it does, when you work it properly, like from the corner of your mouth, it just does such a beautiful job. Now, the mic that you're using is doing a very nice job. You could probably use a click or two more top-end EQ, treble EQ from where you are. I would say if you know where your EQ is, if you could give me a +2 clicks up treble boost from where you are, and I could listen to it, I'd appreciate it.
Where you are, and I could listen to it, I'd appreciate it.
Alrighty, I brought the treble up one, and I'm going to lower the low end just a little bit because I'm getting pretty maxed out on treble settings. I'm running out of treble.
Oh, well, where you were on the bass end was nice. You had a nice full bass down to about 125 cycles, so it's just perfect. I'd leave the bottom end exactly where it was. Now, if you were out, plus 5 on the treble, is that what you're saying?
Plus 5 on the treble, is that what you're saying?
It was +3, and I bumped it up to +4, and lowered the low end by 1. So, how is this now?
Roger. Well, I'm copying the mail on the Arlington SCR. It goes down to 100 cycles, and you sound really good. Let me see if I can get to my local antenna. If you would, maybe give me about 10 or 15 seconds on what you like best about your radio there, and I'll see if I can bring you up on my local antenna system.
Sure, I understand. Yeah, about 7300 is the spectrum, because you can actually look and see where the conversations are at, which helps you dial in a lot quicker. And it does have the internal tone controls, for transmit and receive is a real nice feature there. I like the notch filter because when people start tuning up and things, you can hit that notch filter and it'll take it right out of there. So all in all, when I first got back into this in January, I bought a ICOM 718, and real quickly I said I didn't like that radio. It was really nothing more than a glorified CB radio, and I wanted something with more features and better front-end tunability, and I think I found that in the 7300. Back to you.
Roger. Well, I think you need to get the Gorilla Tape out and tape it down, because I think you're exactly perfect, Roger.
All right, I appreciate that. It's kind of a shock going from that little 781 Heil microphone up to this big studio type of mic. Now, there is a setting on the microphone. It's a two selection. One is flat, and the other one, I think, is to elevate the high end just a little bit. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I've got it set for flat right now.
Yeah, that switch is probably a low cut. It's probably a low cut switch, but I wouldn't change a thing. I would run just exactly the way you are. Your dynamic range is 3 dB, so it means your average percent of peak modulation is 80 to 85%. Your EQ curve is just perfect. You're very broad across the band audio-wise, and very articulated at the top end to balance that nice bottom end, Roger. So everything is just perfect. I'd tape it down.
All righty, I certainly appreciate that. Yep, you can never tell. I mean, my hearing isn't the best, and because I'm a retired musician, and that pretty well explains it all. But so I tried to listen to SDR sites, a couple different ones, and you never. It's always best to hear it from a human rather than trying to listen to yourself.
Roger. Well, if you're using, most of the SDRs are rolling off at about 250 cycles, so you're missing a very intrinsic part of your audio on most of those SDRs, Roger.
Roger that. Now, what's your location again, please?
I'm just across the Ohio River from Louisville, Kentucky. I'm on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville, home of fast women and beautiful horses.
Roger. I've got family up in Ohio, over in Brown County and Adams County, which is kind of runs over there. And Adams County, which is kind of runs over there along the river.
Roger that. Now I just went down to my Georgia SDR, and you're 20 over down there, sounding beautiful. Milford has rejected me. What's new there? Let me get back onto Milford and bring you up on that for just a minute, so we'll have all the SDRs involved here. Alrighty, and come back and talk to me a little bit, and I'll bring you up on Milford.
Alrighty, and come back and talk to me a little bit, and I'll bring you up on Milford. I've got an amplifier, but I don't have it turned on right now. Just doing the barefoot radio itself.
Oh, Roger, just outstanding. Matt, you might even incorporate the super glue on some of those controls.
On some of those controls. Yeah, Roger the super glue. I like it to be simple. I like it to be a simple station and stuff, but this radio's very nice, and I bought it, and I bought it during a time they had a $100 rebate on the radio, so at age 67, retired and limited income these days, anymore, saving $100 for a radio is a good thing.
Roger, Roger. Now, you might notice when you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by today's date, 10/15/21, which will take you to this recording, that over on the right-hand side of my video, there's a couple of chevrons. One is an antenna input select readout, and the other is an audio input select readout. So I'm switching around here. I'm going through I'm monitoring 4 internet SDRs plus my local antenna system, and so as I'm moving around, these chevrons are reflecting what I'm doing, and so you can hear what's happening as far as what I run through the SDRs, Georgia, Virginia, New York, and whatnot. You can hear all those and associate them by where the light is, Roger.
You can hear all those and associate them by where the light is, Roger.
Okay, yep. Now, to be able to go and retrieve our conversation on there, you enter in a time, or how do you do that?
You go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, along with today's date, 10/15/21, and it will take you directly to this recording.
15/21, and it will take you directly to this recording.
Okay, excellent. I'll do that in a little bit here and see what it sounds like. That'd be a really neat thing to be able to do. So, well, I want to thank you sincerely for helping me, because there's nothing scarier than having a great big microphone sticking in your face and not knowing what it sounds like. So, and it's a little bit of a costly mic, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to work. And let you get back. I will see here, and again, I thank you very much for the help. So, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. This is Kilo Charlie 8 Tango Delta X-Ray, Lynchburg, Virginia. And be standing by on your final.
Roger, Roger, David, 73, sir. You have a great afternoon, a beautiful weekend. Really sound really nice, and I think you'll like your recording there. 73. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Whiskey 1. Or you want to check out, give me a shout. Whiskey 1, Quebec Juliet Alpha.
A Whiskey 1 station. Come back and give me your call sound again slowly phonetically.
Station. Come back and give me your call sound again slowly phonetically. Roger that. Whiskey 1, Quebec Juliet Alpha.
Quebec Juliet Alpha, Roger, what's the name?
Quebec Juliet Alpha, Roger, what's the name? Name is Mike. I'm in central New York, and I'm getting you at about a 5.9 plus 20.
Roger, Mike, and thank you. And what radio are you running, sir?
Roger, Mike, and thank you. And what radio are you running, sir? I'm running a Yaesu FTDX10, and I've got that hooked up to an MFJ tuner and an AL80B amp, and I'm running it into a end-fed half-wave dipole. I got it in the slope configuration.
Roger, Roger. Now, Mike, just a review. We have a setup procedure if you would be interested. It starts with that compressor on, but only at a 3. I think your compressor may be on, I'm not sure, but it sounded like it might have been on. It might have been a little higher than a 3, so we do recommend a 3 on the setup on the compressor, Roger.
We do recommend a 3 on the setup on the compressor, Roger. Roger that. That being the function?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell you what, if you have difficulty finding that, I can give you some notes and you can take notes, Roger.
If you have difficulty finding that, I can give you some notes and you can take notes, Roger. Roger that.
Our notes starts with the compressor engaged at a 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100, depending on how your input to your compressor is labeled. So it's a compressor on and at a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100. Then move to your ALC, and as you speak fairly rapidly, 100, 200, 300, with mic gain in hand, I want you to adjust the ALC to where it's running mid-scale to 2/3. Mid-scale to 2/3 on your ALC through a mic gain manipulation.
To 2/3 on your ALC through a mic gain manipulation. And mic gain to what?
Mic gain to adjust your ALC. Your ALC is controlled by the mic gain, so I want you to adjust the mic gain until your ALC is reading mid-scale to 2/3. Mid-scale to 2/3 on your ALC by way of utilizing your mic gain control.
ALC by way of utilizing your mic gain control. Roger that.
All right, now why don't you give me about 10 seconds or so on your antenna system. Let me listen to your audio curve.
Or so on your antenna system. Let me listen to your audio curve. Roger that. I've got a ZEP end-fed halfway dipole. It's 80 meter to 10 meter, and it's in a slope configuration, starting out at about 15 feet, and at the top end I'm up about 35, 40 feet, and I'm running that, and I also have a vertical, but I'm not running the vertical now, the vertical from CF07.
Please do not tune up on an active frequency. Frequency is in use. Please do not tune up on an active frequency. Roger, Mike. Well, listen, I'm going to suggest that when you find your equalization page, crank in 2 clicks additional top-end treble EQ. I'm not sure exactly what kind of EQ page you have, but if it's a 3-band, just crank in a couple of clicks additional treble boost. Roger?
Crank in a couple of clicks additional treble boost. Roger? Roger that. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir, and I think that'll do it. If you get a chance, drop by next Friday and let me listen to you with all that stuff cranked in, Roger.
And let me listen to you with all that stuff cranked in, Roger. Roger that. We'll do, QSL. Thanks for your help, sir, and you have a fine day. This is Whiskey 1, Quebec Juliet Alpha, 73.
Roger, Roger, Mike, 73, sir. You have a great afternoon, a beautiful weekend. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. EW.
Station ending in W. Come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Slowly phonetically with your call sign. Kilowatt 4 Hotel Echo Whiskey.
Hotel Echo Whiskey. Roger, what's the name there?
Echo Whiskey. Roger, what's the name there? Roger, the name here is Joe. That is Juliet Oscar Echo, located in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Roger, Roger, Joe. You know, I tell you what, man. I've my kingdom for a good ballpoint pen. I've tried every ballpoint pen. I like the real bold black, you know. Every one of them. You run it for about 3 or 4 days, and all of a sudden, it's a fine point. I don't know what it is, but anyway. So my beautiful. I forget what this one is, but it is now running fine point, and I'm saying, hey, did I write that or not? Anyway, Joe, what radio are you running, sir?
Anyway, Joe, what radio are you running, sir? Good evening. Yeah, I'm running 7300, and it is not a stock mic, but it's a Bluetooth-in wireless mic headset, and Plantronics 720. And I was just fiddling with the ALC on here on the mic gain, and I didn't see a whole lot of difference from where I'm at. that is, I cannot get it to go over 50% ALC. I think that's a good thing, but I'm just wondering, is that something that's built into the 7300? Back to you.
No, but be aware that the ALC escutcheon does not necessarily run the full length of that movement. You know, it's marked what the ALC lines are from here to there. So look at that, and you only want to be running mid-scale to that ALC line. Right now, your dynamic range, it looks to be about a dB, so you're too hot going in. So you need to back off quite a bit, Roger.
Quite a bit, Roger. Okay, right now the gain on there is at 25%. ALC does show a mid-range. I'm going to go down to the mic gain and back off a good 5% there, down to 20%, actually 19%. Has that made any difference? Over?
Yes, sir. You're now at about 2.5 dB. And you need to back off just a little bit more. I think words need to have a little dynamic range, and if you get too fat, your words start to blur. So back off another 8 clicks or so. If you're whatever that. What is your reading right now in your mic gain?
What is your reading right now in your mic gain? The mic gain at the moment is 15%, and it's showing a mid-scale maximum.
Roger. Now, you might think about taking your receiver output gain down and then being able to bring your internal mic gain up, because what you don't want to do is get too hot into your mic input, because you will be distorting that front end. So, think about attenuating that receiver output, then where you can come up with your mic gain to about 50% or so. You know what I mean? 50%
or so. You know what I mean? When you say output, are you talking RF output? Over?
No, I'm talking about, in other words, good practice would dictate that your mic gain should be running about mid-scale. Your internal mic gain should be running about mid-scale. And when you start running down there about 10% or so, it is indicative that your input level to your from your plantonic receiver is a little hot going into your mic input. So you might want to bring that down to where you can run your mic gain, your internal mic gain up around 30%, 40%, 50%, somewhere in there, to assure yourself that you're not overdriving the audio front end of your mic input.
Front end of your mic input. Okay, Roger that. I'll get into the internals on this thing. I haven't adjusted anything in that regard, but it may be also a function of the microphone I'm using. Headset microphone I'm using. The stock mic probably won't have this problem. I'm just guessing.
Roger, no. This, I think what it is that you're just overdriving, and you could be like overdriving the front end when you get down to those lower numbers on the mic input. What did you say your mic input level was?
On the mic input, what did you say your mic input level was? Right now it's at 15%, 15%.
Roger, that should be all right there. But if you had to bring it down lower, like around 10% or something like that, I would think about backing off on your wireless mic receiver gain, back that off, and then back up bring up your mic, your internal mic gain control. So you're taking care of that mic input level. In other words, if you get too hot audio into your mic input, even though you turn your mic level down, that's a backstage to your preamp. So you would probably still be overdriving your front end of your preamp. So you don't want to do that. So good engineering says that you want to be mid-scale or thereabouts on your internal mic gain, so you can bring down your wireless mic receiver gain.
Down your wireless mic receiver gain. Understood. That makes good sense. I will do that. I'll get into the Plantronics and see what happens there. Thank you so much. Back to you.
Roger. And there's a lot of ways to attenuate if you need to. You can, depending on how much gain you got to get rid of, you can bridge out of your wireless mic receiver with 10K and bridge into your mic gain with 10K. And then where those two 10Ks come together, you can put a load resistor across that, depending on how much gain you need to reduce. And that way you'll always have 10K load on your wireless receiver audio, and you'll have a 10K ohm load on your microphone input, and that all should work real well. And so the attenuator resistor, is just whatever it needs to be able to get your mic gain up to say 30%, 40%, 50%, somewhere in there.
Say 30%, 40%, 50%, somewhere in there. Roger that. Makes good sense. I will do that. I appreciate the input, Jim.
Yes, sir. And so why don't you tell me let me just look at your audio for just a moment. Give me about 10 or 15 on your antenna system, and let me look at you.
Just a moment. Give me about 10 or 15 on your antenna system, and let me look at you. Okay, the antenna we're at, first of all, we're in a motorhome located in an RV park, and I have a quarter wave vertical. Happens to be the Eagle 1 vertical antenna for 40 meters, quarter wave, mounted on the rear ladder, and the shielding for the cable is grounded to the chassis of the vehicle. So I've got a 40-foot, as it were, a 40-foot reflector below this thing. So the antenna, though, is mounted on top of the ladder, which is about 12 feet. So the top of the antenna is about 32 plus 12, so 44 feet, something like that. Roger?
Roger that. Now, how close are you working that mic? We suggest that you run that mic straight out as far as you can get it, and then at the last minute make a 90. Roger? Straight out as far as you can get it, and then at the last minute make a 90.
Roger. Straight out as far as you can get it, and then at the last minute make a 90. It actually is below my mouth. It's by my chin, and it does just what you said. I'd have to reach down. I can't even touch it with my tongue, so I can stick my chin out like that, and I can almost touch it.
Roger that. You still might be just a tad warm. Back off just a little bit more on that microphone level, if you would, and let me look at you.
On that microphone level, if you would, and let me look at you. All right, backed it down to 10%, and looks like the ALC is a skosh below half scale. It'll peak at half scale on the 7300. Roger?
Yeah, Roger. You need to be just a little bit warmer than that, so your ALC is reading correctly. So just a mid-scale to 2/3, and you'll be dynamite. Roger?
Just a mid-scale to 2/3, and you'll be dynamite. Roger? Okay, Roger that. I pushed it up 2 more. We're at 12%, and it looks like it's sitting right at half scale.
Yeah, it could be just a skosh more. What you were at 17 before?
Be just a skosh more. You were at 17 before? 15.
Roger. Go to 17. Let me look at you. It all depends. I mean, do you customarily speak at a specific level, more or less?
At a specific level, more or less? Basically what I'm doing right now, it tends to be a little louder than conversation, but that's it, where I am right now. And we're at 17% gain. Roger?
Yeah, that's good. And so when you listen back, I've been monitoring the Arlington SDR, so that's a full-scale frequency response SDR on the lower end down to at least 100 cycles, so you sound good. Roger? At
least 100 cycles, so you sound good. Roger? Okay, I'll appreciate that. I will dial that up in the coming day or two when you get it posted. I sure appreciate it, Jim. Thanks for your help. Back to you.
Roger. Joe. Appreciate that, sir. 73 to you. And if you get a chance, join us next Friday. Have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
All right, I was running through some of my SDRs and stuff, so I'm out on Atlanta right now, so I'm going to see if I can bring up Atlanta. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not, and I can't bring up Atlanta, but there is another Georgia SDR that I use that's really, really nice, and it's coming up. So there we go. On frequency, audio, and audio up. There you go. So this is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. And if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Recheck, please.
Recheck. Go ahead, recheck.
Recheck. Go ahead, recheck.
It's Dave in Lynchburg, KC8 Tango Delta X-ray. I'm on the YouTube page, but I can't find today's date for our conversation earlier.
Yes, sir. I forgot to tell you, you give us a couple of days to get it uploaded. Have all the information except for that last little bit. It'll take us a couple of days to get it uploaded. We'll probably get it uploaded tomorrow morning normally, but give us a couple of days on the outside. So, but if you wanted to check tomorrow or around noontime, we could have it up by then, Roger.
Noontime, we could have it up by then, Roger.
Okay, roger that. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Kilo Charlie 8, Tango Delta X-ray. Standing by. I'll turn it back to you.
Yes, sir. 73, sir. And sorry we missed that last little bit of information. A lot of folks are streaming live. I have thought about that, but I do want to get good recordings, and I'm not sure that streaming live would maybe be more problematical than doing what we do and try to get the best recording possible. So we shall see. Maybe sometime we'll stream live. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
KC9VKV, November.
There's a Gulf November in my life. Gulf November, I have a copy on you, but it's very weak. If you would, give me your call sign again, and let me see if I can get a better connection, Roger.
See if I can get a better connection, Roger.
Absolutely. The call here is Whiskey 8, Gulf November. That's W8GN. The name here is James, Juliet Alpha Mike, Echo Sierra, and we are located in Charleston, West Virginia.
Roger James, and what radio are you running, sir?
Roger James, and what radio are you running, sir?
Yes, sir. I am on new to me. I've had it about 3 weeks now. It is an Anon 7000 Mark II, the black version, and running about 400. Over.
All right, I just got you on my local antenna. It blew my ears off there. What was that Anon radio again? Give me the nomenclature.
Yeah, it's the Anon 7000 Delta Lima Echo Mark II, and it's the black version. In other words, without the built-in computer.
Oh, Jesus, your audio is beautiful. I mean, you are just gangbusters from one end of the spectrum to the other. I'm on my local antenna, and you're about 20 over, and your audio curve is from one end to the other. Roger?
All right. Well, thank you very much. I've been working on the audio here some. Love the Anon. The Anon is great for that as far as, working with the audio. The microphone here is a Neumann TLM 103, and I am going into an Aphex Master Channel processor just for a tube preamplifier and the big bottom and the oil exciter circuitry in that, and then the rest of the processing is done in radio or in the software there. Over.
Roger, just beautiful, just beautiful. Content down to probably 25 cycles. You look to be zero level at 100 cycles. Let me describe my frequency meter spectrum analyzer. On the set, it has 3 white marks on it. First white mark on the left-hand side is 100 cycles. And then as you move off to the right-hand side, the far end of the right-hand side, the first mark to the right-hand side is 1 kc. Then there's a black area, which is 2 kc. And the next white marker is 4 kc, just so you can see what the spectrum analyzer is. Roger?
Okay, that sounds great. And I will be looking forward to your video on YouTube in 3 or 4 days. I have watched your other videos. I believe you also are an Anon SDR owner. I believe I've watched a few of your videos. And but anyway, yeah, very nice signal from you coming in here as well. You're about 15 to 20 dB over, and so everything is working. Very nice audio on your rig there as well. What are you currently playing?
This is an older, about a 35-year-old FT 990, older Yaesu FT 990, highly modified transmit and receive, good down to 100 cycles. Roger?
Oh, yeah. Well, it sounds great. And I used to have an FT 990. Those were actually really nice AM rigs, surprisingly so. They did very well on AM. Okay, well, listen, thanks for letting me get in there. I won't hold you up. I know there's others probably wanting to get in there with you and get their radio checked. I appreciate the compliments and the check back here on my rig, and I look forward to working with you again soon. With that, 73, have a great day and a great weekend from W8GN.
Roger, James. Well, my background is broadcast, AM broadcast, and the AM of amateur radio is not the same AM as commercial broadcast, and I really enjoy commercial broadcast AM where they sit with 5,000 watts and you have plenty of quieting. Ham radio AM operation is resting maybe 250, 350 watts, exciting to 1,500, but you don't have the quieting like you do on commercial AM radio. Roger?
Yep, absolutely. And yeah, those big transmitters and amplifiers that they use for commercial use are just totally awesome and made for that that type of broadcast. Okay, I didn't catch your name, but on your next over, if you give me your name, I want to get you in the logbook here, and I will go ahead and sign with you after your next transmission. 73 from W8GN.
Roger, James. Name here is Jim, Juliet India Mike. The call is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, KC9VKV. We are located just across the Ohio River from Louisville, Kentucky. We're on the Indiana side of the mighty Ohio River, right at Louisville. Roger?
All right, that sounds great. All right, thank you very much, Jim. And again, have a nice day and a nice weekend. W8GN now clear.
Roger, 73, sir. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. Now till 5, we record live, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
November 2, give me a shout. November 2, Bravo, Zero contact, PA3, Papa Delta Whiskey.
There's a November 2 station, I believe. Come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign.
Phonetically with your call sign.
Roger. Well, I missed my W2 station there. I thought it was a W2 station, but simultaneously with all of that, My Milford SDR has kicked me off. I hate to keep saying that, but that's the facts of life. Someday I'll get a password and be able to have this happening without the interruptions. Anyway, I thought there was a W2 out there. If not, if there is a W2, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
No, phonetically with your call sign.
All right, failing a W2, loudest station, try it again.
Station, try it again. Whiskey, Romeo, Bravo, Victor.
Whiskey Romeo station, come back slowly phonetically with the call sign.
Phonetically with the call sign. Whiskey 8, Romeo, Bravo, Victor, Ray, Ohio.
Name is Ray, is that a Roger?
Name is Ray, is that a Roger? That's a Roger. You got me. W8RBV, running a 7300 into a new wire that I just put up. Seems to be working pretty good. Wonder if I could just switch over to a vertical for you?
You could, but rather than do that, I would maybe want to work on your radio for just a minute if you'd like.
Radio for just a minute if you'd like. That's Roger, go ahead. I just kicked the power up to 100 watts. I was at 50 there to start.
Yes, sir. Okay, our setup procedure starts with engaging your compressor at a 3. A compressor on and at a 3. It's a token amount, but it does exactly what we need it to do, Roger.
Exactly what we need it to do, Roger. Okay, well, let me see if I can figure it out. The radio is sort of new to me. I have set it up a little bit from some friends, but I'll have to see what I'm doing here. I'll go into setup and see if I can find the compressor.
I'll tell you what, Ray, let me just give you some notes, and you can take notes and then do it at your leisure, Roger?
And then do it at your leisure, Roger? Roger, well, I found the right thing here. All I had to do is push a button. I've got my compressor. Compressor is on at about a 4.
And now we want a 3. Compressor on at a 3, sir.
Compressor on at a 3, sir. Okay, compressor's on at 3.
Yes, sir. And now move to your ALC meter with mic gain in hand. And as you speak fairly rapidly, 100, 200, 300, adjust your ALC reading for mid-scale to 2/3 by way of your mic gain control manipulation.
Control manipulation. Okay, I'm in the mic gain control. I'm running about 64%.
Roger. Now, I'm not talking about mic gain as such. I'm talking about your ALC. Your mic gain affects your ALC. It doesn't matter what your mic gain says it is. It's only how the mic gain affects your ALC. Roger?
Affects your ALC. Roger? Roger, understand. Just not sure where to go to get that control.
Alrighty. What's your mic reading right now? Your actual mic reading?
No, your actual mic reading. The mic reading is actually 64%.
All right, bring that to 50, bring it to 50, and let me hear you there.
And let me hear you there. That's Roger. We're at 50% now. How you sound? How do I sound? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
All right, just out of curiosity, take her down to 45. Take her down to 45, and let me hear you there, Roger.
Roger that. We're at 45 right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Alrighty. Let's. Do you know where your equalization page is for that radio?
Equalization page is for that radio? No, sir, I don't.
All right. Well, when you get there, I want you to make some modifications to your equalizer. It's 7300 two-band EQ, so it's real simple. I want you to roll off 1 click bottom end, roll off 1 click bottom end bass, and increase your treble by 2 clicks. Treble boost 2 clicks, bass roll 1 click.
Roll 1 click. Okay,
that. I think I know where it's at. Sort of looking for it right now, but I don't want to spend a lot of time when somebody else has some issues.
Yeah, Roger. Well, let's note to self. Roll off one click on the bottom end, push 2 clicks on the top end, all from the reading that you presently have. Roger?
Roger that.
And I think that'll do real well. Now, what mic were you using there?
The microphone's an IC-SM30.
Okay, how close are you working that mic? You should be about 3 inches away. If you get closer than that, you start to have possible mic disturbances that you would need a windscreen. I would suggest working that mic about 3 to 4 inches away. Roger?
3 to 4 inches away. Roger?
Roger that. I'm at about 3-4 inches right now. That's about where I have been.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. I heard a couple of transients, but if you get a chance, it's no big thing, but if you get a chance, go to your local music store and get yourself a foam windscreen that would just fit over the top of that, Roger.
Roger that. I understand.
And if you would now, give me about 10 seconds on your antenna system, and let me evaluate your overall sound.
Okay, well, I'm on an Alpha DXCC antenna. Just put it up about a week ago. Friend here gave it. I do have a Jetstream Vertical 680, and I think this wire is doing a little bit better because I've had pretty good contacts today where I was not being heard before. Roger?
Roger, I just moved you over to my local antenna, my local receiver. I would leave that bottom end. Let me give you a correction to your EQ pattern. I would leave your bottom end flat where it is. I would boost your treble one more. So it would be 3 clicks boost treble EQ and leave the bottom end flat. Roger?
Roger that. I've made a note of that.
Yeah, I don't mean leave the bottom flat. I mean leave the bottom where it is, wherever that might be. And just all you need to do is work on the top end, push 3 clicks boost, treble EQ.
Roger, we'll be changing that. Could I go over to the vertical antenna now and see if it's even working?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've got you set for 0 level on peaks. We shall see where it goes.
Holy cow.
Stand by. Was that him?
Yeah, just barely.
Ray, this is KC9VKV. If you're in there, buddy, I think you're talking into a dummy load.
It's been all along that I'm not getting out to people to come back to me.
I'm sorry, we doubled there. Did you were transmitting in your other antenna for a while?
Yes, sir. That's Roger. I had it on a little bit. I heard you on it, but you were way down. So the vertical isn't doing the job I hoped it would. And the wire seems to do what I need to do, and now I understand.
Comment?
Go ahead, comment.
Hey, Jim, it's Floyd, KJ4REZ. Hey, usually verticals are better for DX. If you're going to talk around, the lower 4 or whatnot, a wire is going to do much better for you, depending on the band conditions, of course. KJ4REZ.
Oh, Roger, that information, and I've been able to get into California and up in Canada and Texas, Florida with it, and even in the islands in Canada with the vertical, but I sure haven't been able to get in some of these Qsos where there's a lot of people, so I think the wire's doing a better job.
Yeah, Ray, I was just trying to copy you there. I do have a vertical antenna, so if you wanted to try that vertical one more time, I will switch over to my vertical just out of curiosity to see if that makes a difference. Roger?
Roger that. I'm flipping over to the vertical.
He's talking to you, Jim.
Yeah, Ray, I do not copy you on my vertical. I don't copy you on anything. That vertical is, I don't think it's getting out, buddy.
Roger that. That's what I'm sort of finding out. I might even want to go and make sure I've got it connected up after I put my wire up. Haven't really used it other than to receive, but you know, you could throw a wire out the window and receive somewhat, but transmission hasn't been good. So maybe that's my problem, and you're the second person to give me similar information. So I'm going to have to look into that vertical, and I'll stay on the wire. W8RBV, back to you.
Roger. You should... well, if you don't have it hooked up, your SWR is going to be astronomical. So I would look at that vertical with a SWR bridge and see what you got there, Roger.
SWR bridge and see what you got there, Roger.
Roger that. It's got a, when I set the vertical in the tuner on this radio, 7300, it comes right down, and so I would indicate that would be an indication that it's hooked up, but maybe going back and forth between two antennas where I just set this one up a little bit ago, would that create my problem?
No, but I'll tell you, if you have your antennas on a rotary selector, if your vertical antenna is properly tuned, the white noise will be even more hotter than in any of your other antennas, pretty much. Particularly your horizontal antennas. A vertical radiator will be usually much noisier in residual band noise than a horizontal dipole, say.
Roger. Well, when I put the wire on, I had about an S9 of noise, and I ended up going in and changing my preamp down. In fact, I turned it off on the wire. It isn't even on right now. And when I go to my vertical, I usually set it, depending on the band naturally, on a 1 or a 2, and it's much quieter, and my wire is quiet when the preamp is turned off.
Roger. Bottom line is, how do signals sound? You know, a good antenna for the duration is the one that usually the one that you're getting the hottest receive off of, and by and large, except now in loop antennas, because loop antennas are directional, and you could be on the cusp of one signal and another loop, or maybe on the not that sharing that directionality, or even horizontal dipole antennas have directional aspects that a loop might be looking at another angle of the dangle, so to speak. Roger.
Angle of the dangle, so to speak. Roger.
Roger. One question here. The Jetstream antenna 680 is a radialist antenna. They don't recommend it, putting radials out in particular, and I haven't had any problem with that. Does your experience suggest that maybe that could be an issue?
Well, it would show up usually as SWR. You know, if an antenna is designed for radios and you run it without, then it's going to show up as SWR in transmit, Roger. And you don't have to, have 1,000 billion watts to look at your SWR bridge, Roger.
Roger that. Usually the manual on the 7300 suggests 45 watts to set up your SWR and then go on to full power. I've actually gotten good results at 50 watts with this radio after I put it on the wire, so
You've answered quite a few questions for me here by what we're doing.
Roger. Well, that's 7,300. You should go ahead and run that full tilt. I did have a 7,300 for a while to evaluate, and I always ran it full tilt. It's what it's designed to do, and so that's the way I ran it, and it just works perfectly. Unless, of course, you're running it into another amp or something that you want a specific power output, then you would run it maybe at a lower wattage.
Roger that. Well, the maximum wattage on the vertical antenna is only 250 watts. And of course, on the wire I'm using, it's up to 1,000. But right now we're running barefooted. And let me also preface this here. I was out of radios for about 35 years here in the past, and I've only been on the radio again for about the last year experiences, and I do appreciate all your help. And I don't know that I've got your name. I got let's see. Oh no, I got you. calls K9 Victor Roger Victor. So I think we're good. Can you confirm on QRZ?
Yeah, call sign is KC9VKV, Kilo, Charlie 9, Victor, Kilo Victor. Name is Jim, Juliet, India Mike. Roger?
Name is Jim, Juliet, India Mike. Roger?
Roger, and I think I got you pulled up here. I backed off a little bit. I got my computer on. No, I don't have you pulled up here, so I'll have to do that. Okay, sir, I won't hold you. You've given me a lot of help here and some information I've been seeking and wondering about, and you have a blessed day, and hope to hit you further down the line. W8RBV will be clear, 73.
Roger, Ray, 73, sir. Thanks for dropping by. If you get a chance after you crank in those notes, join us next Friday and I'll give a listen. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. We have about 14 minutes before 5. At 5, we turn into a pumpkin. So if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Okay, KC9VKV, this is W6FFG remote from Eagle Eyrie in Virginia, and name is Bruce here. Good to hear you again. How are you copying? Over.
Bruce, I got you, buddy, but I tell you what, man, you need to move closer to that mic. Turn that mic down and move closer to it. I've got a lot of room echo with you, and that distracts from the clarity of your voice and the words. So you want to be turn that mic in and down and come in a little bit closer to the microphone, Roger.
Okay, very good. Well, let me explain something. I've been 61 years in the audio business, and I know exactly what's happening. We are in a hotel room with resilient walls, and yes, there is echo, and I know all about the articulation, loss of consonants, but all we were doing is testing a remote base on a laptop computer for a gentleman that this is the first time he's had access to this. And so we just wanted to make sure that it was working. And, of course, your signal is sounding good as usual. So back to you. This is W6 Sugar Fox Golf. Over.
Roger, Bruce. Okay, just be aware that your room wall reverberation is about 30% of your audio signal. It's really coming back very much. So if you could work closer mic, you would probably, and then you could turn your mic down, and then your room noise wouldn't be so bad. But of course, you know all that.
Okay, Jim, thank you very much. Know exactly what you're talking about. Probably if I talk a little bit closer, it might help. But I can't help the acoustics of the room unless I fill it with acoustic foam. So thank you very much. 73, my friend. God bless. Over.
Roger, Bruce, I was just curious that you might not have a mic gain control, that you could turn that mic down and then work it closer.
You could turn that mic down and then work it closer.
Well, if you understand the architecture of laptop, a conventional system, you have an automatic level built in, and if you lower it down, it just lowers the overall level, but you would still hear that 30% echo. So, like I said, unless we change the acoustics of the room, nothing is going to change. And I can talk closer to the mic, but it's not going to make that much difference. So, anyway, just checking out the remote base here, and to carry on, because I think there's probably a couple more guys that would like information. W6SFG.
Roger, Bruce. If you would come back slowly phonetically with your call sign, please.
Back slowly phonetically with your call sign, please.
W6 San Francisco Giants. W6 Special Forces Group. W6 Sierra Foxtrot Guatemala. Over.
Roger. Okay, Bruce. And what radio are you ultimately using to transmit?
Radio are you ultimately using to transmit?
Okay, this is pretty complicated. The remote goes from this laptop Asus computer through the internet to remotehams.com, which is being converted through Ham Radio Deluxe and then going into an old FT1000 MT. Over.
FT1000 MT, is that a Roger?
FT1000 MT, is that a Roger?
That is a Roger.
Alrighty, and that transmit station is in Virginia, is that a Roger?
That transmit station is in Virginia, is that a Roger?
Yes, it's in Lynchburg, Virginia, and we're running about 60 watts. Over.
Roger, Bruce. Okay, well, we are recording. We have been recording, so if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, along with today's date, 10/15/21, we'll bring you up to this recording specifically. It'll take us a couple of days to get it uploaded, Roger.
It'll take us a couple of days to get it uploaded, Roger.
Yes. Well, thank you very much, Jim, and thank you for the service that you're providing to many amateurs. W6 Special Forces Group, or Southern Fried Grits, and the way I say it is sure feels good. Over.
Yeah, I like the grits myself. 73, Bruce. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. Got about 9 minutes till 5. We're turning still into a pumpkin at 5. So, if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
There was about 5 stations in there. I couldn't copy any of them. Loudest station, try it again.
Any of them. Loudest station, try it again.
Papa 4, Echo Oscar Papa.
Echo Papa station, come back and try it again. Give me your call sign slowly phonetically.
Again, give me your call sign slowly phonetically.
All right, Jim, good afternoon. Very interested in your conversation here. And call sign here is Kilo Papa 4, Echo Oscar Papa, KP4 EOPM, right now in St. Louis, Missouri.
Roger. EOP in Missouri, what's the name?
EOP in Missouri, what's the name?
Handle here is J, Juliet Alpha Yankee. Juliet Alpha Yankee, so Kilo Papa 4, Echo Oscar Papa.
Echo Oscar Papa, Roger, and the name is Ray. What radio are you running, Ray?
What radio are you running, Ray?
Okay, the name is Jay, Juliet Alpha Yankee. Juliet Alpha Yankee, good afternoon, Jim. And just back to HF after 28 years of absence and working satellite and digital communications. And just moved here to San Luis. 100 watts, and that microphone is a Hell ICM, India Charlie Mike. Kilo Papa 4 Echo Oscar Papa. Go ahead, Jim.
Roger, Roger. Well, I just got you on my local antenna. You sound really good. Why don't you give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system so I can listen to you?
Okay. I decided to get permission from my wife and just have an end set with 135 feet wire back in the solid tree that I have in the backyard. So that's what I'm working. Jim, go ahead.
Roger, gremlins are working on my monitor system here. I just got my monitor system back. It went down to not full scale. Now I got it back, and I can see my spectrum analyzer. So tell me what you like best. Tell me what radio you're running and what you like best about it.
Okay. Say again the question. What do I like best of what? The antenna or what?
What radio are you running, and what do you like best about it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm working on the Icon 7300, and I did some research when people were trying to convince me to get back to HF again. And so it was very popular, and got all the toys, and, well, he got more toys that I was thinking about. And I'm just fascinated with the radio. Go ahead.
Roger, Ray. Jay, I'm sorry. My J looks like a R. Let me straighten that up. I haven't even started to doodle. Things get much worse when I start to doodle over things, and I really can't tell what's going on. But anyway, Jay, you're running the 7300, and I'm looking at your audio on a spectrum analyzer. You're just doing a beautiful job. Could maybe use just a tad more top end, maybe a click or two additional treble boost from wherever you are. Roger?
Okay, I got it. Yeah, I intentionally put that down. I'd like to hear a little bit, more pitch than hard voice, especially when I'm trying to call attention when you only have 100 watts. Yeah, but I take your advice there. I love it. I found you here by accident here, and I'm fascinated. I'm always look for good audio and good criticism. People who tells you exactly what they feel, and I congratulate you, and thank you for giving that service, Jim. Go ahead.
Roger. Jay, and I think that the most important thing is the monitor system that you're using. The 7300 is just a tremendous transceiver. It has a beautiful receiver. The problem is with most radios, there's not enough cubes inside that 7300 to be able to accurately reproduce 100 cycles, obviously. So what you want is a speaker system that will actually reproduce what is happening on the band. So you need to get down to 100 cycles or below, and about the only way you're going to do that is with a monitor system with a subwoofer. Usually it's about the cheapest way. I could suggest Walmart has a 2.1 system, 2 satellite speakers and a subwoofer, under $40. Just a beautiful little audio amp that you can plug directly into the speaker out of the 7300, and you'll just be amazed about what's going on. Roger?
Roger, great advice. And do you have any part number or anything like that I can look into it?
No, it's a LabTech or Logitech. I forget what it is, but it's a only speaker system with a subwoofer for $40. LabTech, I think it is Logitech or LabTech. Roger.
Roger. Excellent, Jim. Great. Well, I know there's a lot of people there. You say you're going to turn to Punky in about 10 minutes, so thank you for the advice, and I'll for sure be here next Friday to hear all your advice. It's excellent. Love it. Anyway, Kilo Charlie 9, Victor, Kilo Victor. I'm going to put you here in the logbook. This is Kilo Papa 4, Echo Oscar Papa.
This is KC9VKV, the Qso-Vlog net. We've enjoyed the day and hope you have. If you have, I want to hear your audio. If you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by today's date 10/15/21, it will take you directly to this recording. If you just call it a search for KC9VKV, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page. Right now we're featuring over 1,850 recorded Qso-Vlogs. So we got to get out of here and return this frequency back to normal amateur radio use. Join us next Friday at 3:30. This is KC9VKV Clear.